guys, I just wanted to take a few minutes of your time. I decided to write down 10 things that had manifested through life lessons or walking them out in my life in 2014. If you follow me on social media, you may have seen me proclaim that 2014 was the year of manifestation, and it truly, truly was. It was a year of manifestation for a lot of things in my life. Things that I had been taught before, things that I learned before, I learned on a deeper level. They were manifested in my life in 2014. And it's funny because when we hear manifestation, we can have a tendency to lean towards physical, tangible things like money or material things manifesting in our life. But I learned as well on a deeper level that manifestation is not always an item that you can purchase or buy, or your money being increased or things of that nature. And I just wanted to take a minute to share with you the 10 things that have been prominent in my life for 2014 that were revealed to me on another level, that are life lessons that I can take with me forever. They were manifested in my life on a deeper level. And these are the 10 things that stood out for me in 2014. The first thing was, every lesson you learn has a deeper meaning. For instance, you may have heard some things in your past and you got an understanding of it for where you were right then, but as life went on, you started to see things on an even deeper level. That manifested tremendously in my life. Things that I felt that I learned before, the veil was removed once again, and I recognize them on an even deeper level. So I learned, it was manifested to me, that every life lesson has an even deeper revelation. And I feel that our life journey is forever growing and forever changing. And as we continue to seek, for me, to seek God and to seek higher understanding, there's always more understanding to be revealed. The second thing I learned was, you cannot control anyone other than you, yourself. I learned that I couldn't control anybody other than myself. And, I know we think with our kids we can control them, but at the end of the day, they even still have a choice whether or not they want to adhere to what you've asked or receive the punishment. Doesn't necessarily mean that they get it, but you have used maybe a means of force to get them to do that. But they can choose to take the punishment or follow instruction. We can't control them. They still have the choice and whether or not to make that decision. So you can't control anybody. If you have a situation with a family member, a loved one, spouse, or child, remember that you cannot control them. You can only influence them by the things that you do. You will not be able to control them. And many of us fight this battle of trying to control people, even with nice gestures or things that we do to compensate. It's manipulation. That's what it is. Regardless of what we want to call it, we're manipulating the situation, but we can't control people. We can only influence them by setting an example with our own lives and our own behavior. The third thing that was manifested to me on a deeper level in 2014 was to find the blessing in every situation, irregardless of how bad the situation was or how good it was. There is always a teachable moment. And if we remove our mindset from what happened that was so terrible in the situation, if it was a bad situation, we can find the lesson in the situation, which, along the journey we were supposed to learn the lesson anyway. It just happened to come through that particular vessel or situation. In every situation, there's always a life lesson that we can grow on. The fourth thing that I learned in 2014, or that was manifested to me on a higher level, is you can never, ever fully be anyone other than yourself. It is so important that we get to a comfortable place with who we are. And for me, learning who I was came through my relationship with Christ. He began to show me not only who I was acting out at the time to be, but who he intended for me to be. And when I began to learn what God's idea of my life was, or how he saw me as a person, I could compare it to who I was actually being. And those thoughts of greatness that he had for me encouraged me to want to change some things in my life that were not lining up with who he said I was. It's difficult to be someone else. It's difficult to change your behavior to fit, the situation, or, what you think someone else thinks of you, just maneuvering your life around based on that. You can never be anyone other than yourself. The fifth thing I learned was some things just aren't that serious. They just aren't that serious. We can spend so much, well, let me go back to me. I have spent so much time in my past on things that just really didn't make a difference. They weren't that serious. I had a tendency to maybe overanalyze or overlook or place more value on some things that just didn't make sense. It didn't matter. It wasn't going to make or break my destiny one way or another. So spending way too much time thinking about it, trying to figure it out, or assuming was a lesson that I learned on a higher level that was manifested to me in 2014 not to do. The next thing that was manifested to me on a higher level in 2014 was who I am really is enough. Thoughts in your mind about all the things that you have going wrong with you, and your mishaps and your frailties and the things that you've done in your past, they keep you bound to your past. They kept me bound to my past. I learned that who I am is enough. And for me, it's specific because I teach. And, to hear negative thoughts about, maybe not being qualified or as qualified as someone else is by the way that the world views them, or feeling like I didn't fit the mold for the particular assignment, that I was setting out to do. You're enough. I'm enough. You are enough. I realize that whatever it is that you're called to do in that season, there is someone who needs what you have to offer right now with where you are right now. And so one of the lessons that was manifested for me in 2014 was you are enough, or I am enough. Another lesson that manifested for me was when I get a word of knowledge, there is always a process to get to the full revelation. Sometimes we have aha moments, and, we just kind of think we got it. Okay, I got it, that's it. But I realized that the full revelation or manifestation of information that you hear comes through walking out the process. That's where the truth is. That's where the answers lie. That's where the fullness of it is, that you can truly receive in your life. Is during the process. The seventh thing I learned was if I don't fully love myself, I can never fully love anyone else. Because we love people based on how we love ourselves. That's where our level of understanding in order to love properly. That's where our compassion lies in order to love properly, based on how we see ourselves. The eighth thing that I learned, which is huge, is the relationship that you have with yourself is the best investment that you could ever make. And for me, the relationship that I have with myself, the higher level of appreciation and love for myself comes from my relationship with Christ. It is my relationship with Christ that taught me to love myself better. And as we journey on in life and we continue on our journey and we learn to love ourselves better, we don't allow things that we may have ordinarily allowed before. And also, as we learn to love ourselves better, we strive for, or we set out, I shouldn't say strive, we set out for greater things in our life because we feel that we deserve it. So the best investment on any relationship that you can make is the relationship you have with yourself. In 2014, I learned, it was manifested to me, that love is freedom. It's not bondage. It's not restriction. Doesn't mean that you can't share with people you love how you would like for them to be. But true love is freedom. It's allowing people to be who they are and still loving them. And sometimes loving them may be from afar. You may have to love them enough to pray for them from a distance. But true love is freedom. It's not bondage. It doesn't hold anybody tied to being what you need them to be. Love is freedom. And the 10th thing I learned, or that was manifested to me on a greater level in 2014, is my emotions have nothing to do with my faith walk. Absolutely nothing. Because we're fickle. You know, we got pride and shame and jealousy and anger and envy and hurt and all those different feelings. And it is impossible to walk out your destiny focusing on all those emotions. The main thing about faith is believing in spite of. So the last thing that I wanted to share with you that manifested in my life on a greater level in 2014 was that my emotions have nothing to do with my faith. It is truly what I believe in my heart of hearts. And you know, it's so amazing because as I began to shoot the video and I started looking back on the things that I wanted to share with you all, I realized that almost everything that I shared with you was based on some type of relationship, whether it was a relationship I had with God, myself, or other people. I truly believe that relationships are the currency for wealth. They're the currency for kingdom building, and they're the currency for your journey in life. And this is so amazing because I have a new project that I'm doing, or lifestyle workshop that I've created, that I will be launching very soon. And I've been in prayer about, you know, just how to deliver the information that I have for you to you, what order to deliver it in. Previously, when I taught the class, I taught, and it's called Real Wealth, by the way, and it talks about 3 core principles of wealth, which are tangible, spiritual, and well-being. And I didn't know if I should talk about the tangible aspect first, which is, you know, saving your money and things of that nature, or the spiritual aspect, which deals with relationships. And after going through my list of things that were manifested to me on a deeper level in 2014, I got my answer. I feel like relationships are the currency for whatever it is that you do. So I know that having an understanding of the relationship with yourself will impact how you walk out the other principles to obtain the tangible wealth, whether it's saving or getting more money, whatever you need in your life that you'll gain from the lifestyle workshop. I realize that the relationship that you have with yourself is going to make a significant difference in whether you're consistent, diligent, or you really even understand the purpose of why you're doing it, which will push you forward and give you the gumption for what you need to obtain real wealth in your life. I thank you guys for allowing me this time to share with you things that were manifested to me on a deeper level in 2014. I pray that you're able to grab some nuggets from it and walk out in your own situation. And as always, I love you guys. Peace.